Hello everyone, welcome to BISP Solutions. I am Preeti, working as Oracle Fusion Functional and PPM Consultant. So in this series of webinar, we will discuss how to integrate from the project module to AR module in the financials module. Now we will start with the basic setups that you need to configure in the account receivable module in the financials area. So these are the setups that you need to configure for the integration from the project module to AR module, and these are the setups that you need to configure in the AR module. First, we have to configure the manage receivable system options. Let's move to our application and configure the same. Go to setup and maintenance. In the setup area, select financials. And in the function area, you have to select receivable. You can see the task here, that is manage receivable system options. Search with your business unit here. Select the business unit and click on edit icon. So these are the information that you have to fill out here as per your business requirement. Here you have to give the relevant accounting combination, like for tax account, for cross currency rounding account, realized gain account, realized loss account, header rounding account. So whenever you will create any transaction which are related to any of these accounts, system will fetch the accounting combination from your receivable system option. So these are the configuration that you have to do as per your business requirement for the AR module. So right now I am not making any changes in the existing configuration as it is already configured. Click on cancel. Then our next task is manage auto accounting rules. So when we integrate from the project module to AR module, we will create the invoice in the projects and then we will push that invoice to the AR module in the financial area. So for that you have to create auto accounting rules. So whenever you will create the invoice for the AR module, system will fetch the account details from the auto accounting rules. For the auto accounting rule setup, you have to select the functional area as customer billing. You can see here the customer billing. Click on it and you can see the task, that is manage auto accounting rules. Based on this, system will generate the auto entry of invoice. Here also you have to search on the business unit level. So this is our business unit. Select this. Instance is taking time. Click on search. You can see here, this is our business unit and this is the account type for which we have to create the accounting rules. It is recommended that you have to create the auto accounting rules for all the account type. Now let's take it as receivable and scroll little down. You can see here, these are the segments that we have in our chart of accounts. Now value source, from where it will pick the accounts. If you are selecting transaction type, then at the time of creation of transaction type, we have to assign the accounting combination. If you are selecting the value source as transaction type, then whenever you will create the invoice in the AR, system will automatically pick the accounting combination from the transaction type. Or if you are providing the constant value, say here, whenever system will pass the entry for the receivable account, then in the company segment, system will pick the constant value as 101. So here you can give the constant value, else you can select the transaction type in the value source. So let me give you the overview of the transaction type. Let's duplicate the tab. Go to setup and maintenance here. You have two options. You can go for constant value or you can go for transaction type. Click on all task here. You can see the task here, that is manage transaction types. Click on search. Let's take the transaction type which is specifically created for the project purpose and then click on edit icon. scroll little down. Now here you can see that all the account types that we have seen in the auto counting rule, we have to select the accounting combination here. You can see here these are the account type, and in the transaction type you have to mention the accounting combination for each account type. So whenever you will create the invoice in the AR module, system will pass the auto entry of that invoice, and while creating the auto entry, system will pick the accounts from the transaction type, or if you are taking it as constant value, then you have to mention here the constant value. System will pass the entry accordingly, and you have to do it for all the account type. Let's take revenue here. So you have to do it for all the account type. So it is already configured. I am not making any changes here. Say if you want to make any change, select select LOB, and here you can select the value source, and if you want to select the constant value, you can select here the constant value. Let's take some business unit for which it is not configured. So almost for all the business units, the accounting rule has been configured. So leave it. In this way you can create the auto counting rules. Now our next task is creating the transaction type. Now as I told you that here we have to mention the accounting combination distribution so that system can pick those accounts while creating the auto entry of the invoice. Again go to the transaction type task, go to setup and maintenance here. Go to customer billing. Click on all tasks here. And then go to the task that is manage transaction type. Click on blind search. So this is the already created transaction type, that is PA invoice. Go and click on edit icon. So here we can associate multiple business unit with one transaction type. You can see here the header information of this transaction type. Here you have to mention the start date, whether you want to generate the bill with this transaction type, select yes or no here, and scroll little down. Here you have to mention all the accounting combination distribution for revenue, receivable, tax, freight, unearned revenue, unbilled receivable, auto invoice clearing. Now how you will associate this with your business unit, or if you want to see with how many business unit this transaction type has been associated, you have to click on this this arrow. Now these are the business unit which are associated with this transaction type. These are the business unit that these business unit can use this transaction type while creating the AR invoice. If you want to associate your business unit here, then you have to simply click on this create icon. So you have to select here the business unit, and then you have to provide the revenue accounting combination distribution. In the same way, you have to provide the accounting combination distribution for the other account type, and you have to simply click on OK, and then this business unit will be associated with this transaction type. So in this way you can associate your business unit here, and for that business unit you can specify the accounting combination distribution. Now click on cancel. So we didn't make any changes in this. Now you have to associate this transaction type with the transaction source. When you create the invoice in the AR module, you have to give the transaction source there. So this transaction type should be associated with your transaction source. You can see the next task, that is manage transaction source. Click on it. Click on blind search here. So with the contract setups, we create the invoice in the project module, and then we push that invoice to the AR module. So for that we have to select this contract invoice transaction source. Click on this and click on add it icon. Now you can see here that this is the contract invoice, description is project accounting invoices, and here in the standard transaction type you have to associate your transaction type. So this field is not mandatory, but while creating the invoice in the AR module, if you are not associating your transaction type with the transaction source, then system will throw error. So it's recommended that you should associate your transaction type with the transaction source. Also there are other information that you can fill out with your business requirement. Now click on cancel. So in the AR module, for creating the transaction, we should have a customer. For the customer purpose, we need to do some basic configurations in the AR module. Go to the manage remit to address task. For creating the new address, click on this add icon. Creating customer, you have to create the specific, or you can say you have to create your own reference data set. While creating the customer, system will not allow you to use the standard common reference data set. For customer purpose, we have to create the specific RDS. Click on setup and maintenance, and we have to assign the same at the business unit set assignment level. Select the task that is manage reference data set. Click on add icon. Click on save and close. Search for the task that is business unit set assignment. So this is the task that is manage business unit set assignment. Here you have to assign the RDS that you have created for two objects. In the scope, select your business unit. So this is the business unit with which we are working. Click on apply and go to task. So you can see here in the customer account, relationship and in the customer account side, you can see here it is not using the common reference data set. Now here we will assign the RDS that we have created now. select this and click on OK. So in this way you have to create the RDS, and next step is that you have to associate this RDS in the business unit set assignment. Do the same for the customer account relationship. Click on OK. Now click on Save and Close. Now come to the task that is Manage Remit to Address. Let's select here the address that we have created. So instance is taking time. the browser. Now click on save and close. So we have created the address. Now next task is we have to create the customer. Click on done here. Click on all task. Go to functional area, customers. Click on all task. You can see the task here, that is create customer. Click on it. Give the name of the customer here. Now here you have to associate the reference data set that you have created. Here you cannot use the standard common reference data set. Therefore, you have to create your own reference data set for the customer creation purpose. Search with the reference data set name. which purpose you have to use this address, you have to mention it here. Click on add icon. I want to use this address for bill to and as well as for ship to purpose. Click on this add icon. You will be able to see the addresses here, and here from here you can select the address for ship to purpose or for bill to purpose. Then if you want to mark any of them as primary address, then you have to click on this data line and you have to go to the actions menu and select set primary. You can see the green mark here, as both of these addresses are same, therefore we are seeing that there are green ticks on both the data line. But if you are using different address, then in that case you can go to actions and you can select one of those addresses as primary address. Now click on save and close. So with this name we already have some customer accounts. Let's take option number 2, that is create new organization based on what you provided. Click on OK. So this is the customer that we have created now. So we are done with the AR basic setups that are required for the integration purpose from the project module to AR module. Now we will discuss the setups related to contract in the project module. Move back to the PPTs. So these are the contract setups that you require to be configured in the project module. Manage and define setup related to project contracts, including contract types and content that can be used consistently across contracts. So we will create the contract, and under contract we will create the contract lines. At contract level we will associate our bill and revenue plans, and at the level of creation of contract we have to associate the contract type. So when we create the invoice in the project module, we do it through the contract Now these are the setups that are related to contract area that you have to configure for the integration purpose from the project module to AR module. In project contracts, if we want to generate the customer invoice, then we have to generate through contracts. So without contracts, you won't be able to generate the invoices in the project module. For that purpose, you need contract, and for the contract purpose, you need to configure these 4 setups in the application. Contracts means the agreement between your customer and the organization. Let me give you the overview of the contract page. Click on home page. Before creating the invoice in the project module, you have to create the contract between the organization and the customer, and through that contract you will be able to generate the invoice in the project module. Here you have to select the contract management. Click on edit icon. We have to provide one role to this user. That is enterprise contract administrator role. Click on done. When you will provide this role to this user and then you have to run the LDET job, then you will be able to see the infolet of contract management on the home page. So this is the basic use of providing this role to this user. Click on done and then click on save and close. Click on done here. Now go to the schedule processes. schedule new process. Search for the LDEP job here. Let's log out and re-log in. So here you can see that contract management is there. Now this user can work on contract management too, because we have given the role to this user. Now here you have to click on this create icon. So when you create the contract, you have to associate one of the contract type here with this contract. So for that we have to do the basic setup for the contract related setups. Now we will move to our tasks that are related to the contracts. Go to setup and maintenance. Setup area, select project financial management here. And in the function area, go to project contracts. Now you will start with manage contract line type. So line types are names you give to the contract. Associate each line type name with one of the fixed set of predefined line sources. A line source determines what item you can enter in a contract line and enables functionality of one of the integrated applications to that line. Now you can see here, system provides you with two type of contract line type. One is for services and another one is for item based. Click on this task, that is manage contract line. And contract module is not the module that only works for projects. It will work for other modules too, but we will use it for the project purpose. You can see here that is free from project. This is the line type which is provided by the Oracle. These are the standard contract line type. Free form means it is related to service, and when you are selecting the item project, it is related to inventory. For creating your own contract line type, you have to click on this create icon. Now how system will know that this is for project purpose? Here you have to select the bifurcation as free form project based sale, then only system will be able to read this contract line type is available for the project purpose. Click on save and close. Do the same for the item based contract line. This source selected as item project based sale. Click on save and close. So in this way we can create the contract line types, and then we have to create the contract type. As I shown you, while creating the contract you have to associate your contract type. What is contract type? A contract type is a category your contract belongs to. The contract type selected decides the nature of the contract. For example, contract type determines whether a contract is a project contract, purchasing contract, or simple non-disclosure or employment agreement. The contract type specifies what kind of information you can enter and what contract lines, parties and party contacts are allowed. Go to manage contract type, and you have to associate the contract line types while creating the contract type. Click on add icon. Now in the class you have to select this enterprise contract for the project module. Select the common reference data set here. And intent should be sale always in the project module. Now in the line class you have to select project here. Here you have to give the start date, and click on continue. the line class, here you have selected the project. When you will enter into the contract type, there you have to associate the contract lines. So only the contract lines which are associated with the project purpose, only you will be able to see those lines. So here it is taking the class as enterprise contract, common reference data set. This is the name of our contract. Here it is taking the start date, and the line class we have selected it as project. Now in the buyer role we have to select it as customer, and the seller role selected as supplier. Scroll down now. Now here you have to associate your line types that we have created in our previous practice. Click on add icon here. Now here you will be able to see only those contract line types which we have associated for the project purpose. So here you can see 4 contract line types are available. 2 are standard which are provided by the Oracle, and 2 which we have created now. Go to additional party roles. If you want to add any party roles, you can add here. Then go to project billing options tab. Now enable it for billing controls. Then you can be able to control the billing limit type. Now here in the billing limit type, you can select soft limit or hard limit. We will discuss about this while creating the contract. Let's take it as soft limit. And this is for advanced authoring options. If you want to provide any e-signature, then you can enable it here. Now click on save and close. Let's take it as contract administrator and then click on save and close. Now click on done. Now our next task is specify customer contract management business function properties. Here you have to associate the transaction source here in the invoice batch source. For the customer billing, we will select it as contract invoices, and for the internal billing purpose, we have to select contract internal invoices in the invoice batch source. And also when we create the invoice in the project module for AR purpose, then we transfer the invoice from the project module to AR module, and we transfer the revenue to general ledger. So for that purpose we have to enable this checkbox for the transfer of revenue to general ledger. So this is the task. Click on it. First you have to select the scope. Here in the scope you have to select your business unit on which you are working. for instance is taking some time. There is some issue in the instance. We will discuss rest of the 2 tasks which are related to project contracts tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching the session. Have a good day.